Looking back at Psalm the 8th chapter, Psalm the 8th chapter, in verse number 4, it says, from the New International Version, what is mankind that you are mindful of them? Human beings that you care for them. You have made them a little lower than the angels and crowned them with glory and honor. You made them rulers over the works of your hands. You put everything under their feet. I want to use for our subject this morning, I'm nobody's angel. I'm nobody's angel. Some of y'all gonna get a little bothered under the collar this morning. But I'm nobody's angel. That ought to be a witness, a testimony for somebody. That I am nobody's angel. I need to be honest with everybody in here today that I am personally no angel.
Amen.
And I wonder if I can have anybody else in the house this morning that don't mind being honest with me. You can just look at your neighbor and tell your neighbor, you better not be scared to sit beside me in church. Because I'm no angel. You see, ladies and gentlemen, it may be worth investigating how we as Homo sapiens characterize each other with animalistic attributes. You see, it has become so normal in our culture that we don't even find it bizarre or strange that here as of late it's nothing for us to hear some woman being called a cougar.
All right now.
For the men in here in the room, we've heard too many times that all men are dogs. You see, we're in a place in the history where the paparazzi has focused on celebrities because of some homemade sex tape, and they have been coined now as sex kittens. You see, in a context that really doesn't need for me to necessitate describing in any great detail to the church, you've heard somebody being referred to as a beast. You see, it begs the question for the rational, critical thinkers in the house this morning, if we approach our intimate relationships with an animalistic sensibility, that many of us have been hurt so many times that because we have been dehumanized, that the intimate part of who we are and in a vain existence, we characterize people as animals to deal with them a little better. Because maybe if I don't see you as a human being, then it don't matter how I treat you. Or if I perceive you as less than human, then my standard of expectations for you will be a little lower.
Come on now.
There's a term called bestiality, which is the technical term for humans having sex with animals. I know y'all getting worried right now. But it's noteworthy that bestiality is illegal in the state of South Carolina, but many of us are still sleeping with animals.
All right.
Somebody go start in the truck. Not only sleeping with animals, but many of us have messed up and almost by accident fallen in love with them. You see, when you're in an animalistic relationship that is completely physical, an animal doesn't care if the mate is in it for only a good time. But we got to understand an animal is of such that the animal is not looking to be intellectually stimulated. It's not a matter of how you make me think, but how you make me feel. You see, animals are really the authors of the phraseology, it is what it is. Animals don't really want to spend time considering or commiserating whether the partner they're sleeping with is ready to be committed. You see, for an animal, it's just a matter of who was around when mating season started. And I'm greatly concerned, if not confused, in this generation of believers that if we have collectively reduced ourselves to animalistic urges and impulses and desires, we almost take it to the point, and I know I'm getting ready to figure skate on some ski and ice this morning, but some of us, we take it as a foregone conclusion that when the church talks about abstaining, we automatically think about the teenagers. But now, if we are really talking about consecration, we ought to be talking about some adults in here. You see, it's almost something that we chuckle under our breath about when somebody talks about holding themselves for marriage. And at some point, you got to figure out, is this real? Or are you going to see if I'm going to break? You see, it becomes a little more intense when it is that I don't even think that I can do it. And as a matter of fact, this morning, I no longer have put marriage on the table. That's how some of our single folk look at things today. Marriage is not even on the table. Just going to deal with my desires and my urges and my cravings. But if in fact you will be committed to me, parents, talk to your kids when you get home. But how can you say you committed to me? Baby, I'll use a condom.
Come on now.
I know y'all don't like this. But see, some folks satisfied right there.
Come on.
As long as you are quote unquote protecting yourself, then it's all right.
Come on.
It's on and popping now. But other than that, we have no expectations about our own self-discipline.
That's right.
How many and how then are we different from the animals? To exercise no discipline is like a pit bull without a leash. You see, many of us, we confuse religion for rules. So religion for us is not a culture. Religion for us is a restraint. You see, when you find a Jewish person, they do not define themselves by their ethnicity. But their religion is their culture. A person who ascribes to Islam, their Islamic connection or affiliation is not their ethnicity. It is their culture. But church, for many Christians, this is not our culture. This is our activity. So you come to church on Sunday or maybe on a Tuesday night, but we do not practice our religion, but we come to church for an hour and a half and then we go on and blend in with the rest of the world the remainder of the time. You see, really an animal is not disciplined if it has to stay on a leash to be in the yard. An animal is not disciplined if it's always got to be held by the collar by the owner in order for it to behave. An animal even has to go to training school or obedience school to know when to lay down, when to roll over, when to jump, and to only holler if a stranger comes in the yard. But something is wrong with an undisciplined Christian who has obviously not been trained, because we still don't know when to lay down. And not only do we not know when to lay down, we stay in it too long when God has given us a way of escape. You see, a real Christian is not what you catch me doing, but when I operate in integrity is how I operate as a Christian when nobody is looking. You think just because you ride down to Atlanta, won't nobody know about it. But God is still watching.